Hi, my name is Sequoia, and I use she and her pronouns, and I am the founder and also a wellness consultant for Red Linen Moon Wellness and Consulting. I also identify as a Black queer survivor. My hair is doing weird things. But yeah, I am making this video to start talking about the intersections of identity related to healing from narcissistic abuse. When I was on my initial journey to heal from narcissistic abuse, I joined a few Facebook groups, followed some folks on Instagram, checked out videos on YouTube, and searched for different spaces that, could just hold the different identities that I hold while also supporting me through processing what had happened related to being with a narcissist. So that journey led me to not a lot of spaces, a lot of spaces where I had to compartmentalize certain aspects of my identity. So, being Black, some of the spaces, some folks were racist. Being queer, majority of the spaces were for folks from heteronormative relationships, but also um, a lot of folks in those spaces are homophobic or transphobic, so that didn't feel good. And so yeah, I am creating a space where identity and culture are considered related to healing from narcissistic abuse. The other piece that I'll add too is many of the scholars, well known names related to narcissistic abuse don't necessarily highlight or put a lot of emphasis on identity and culture as it relates to healing from narcissistic abuse. Um, Dr. Ramani is one person that does. I've attended a few of her trainings, and her lens is definitely from the perspective of understanding how culture and identity and those things can impact someone's healing process. And so, I'm gonna stop messing with my hair. And so, yeah, one of the other places that I'll say is this book, The Highly Sensitive Person's Guide to Dealing with Toxic People, How to Reclaim Your Power from Narcissists and Other Manipulators. This is a really good book. And the person that wrote this has an amazing Instagram. But one of the critiques that I have of this book is that it doesn't talk about identity, culture, or culturally related practices that can be incorporated to healing narcissistic abuse. There are practices in general that she gives here that is amazing, but as I mentioned, there isn't a specific lens on cultural practices that can help with healing from narcissistic abuse. So, as an example, and I'll talk more about this in subsequent videos. One of the practices that or one of the kind of dynamics that she mentions in this book is related to soul retrieval. But that has a very cultural foundation to it, with the Kundera practices. And so that practice is absolutely, again, tied to culture, but also has a place related to regaining self, right? So, yeah. Um, what else do I want to say? So, Dr. Ramani, this book, what can you expect? The videos, again, will highlight different aspects of identity and culture. So, I'll talk about things like the angry black woman trope, and how that trope, identity, stereotype is used as a way to silence black women, black identified bodies, um, in the dynamics of navigating narcissism, right? And so I'll talk about that. I'll talk about how queerness impacts healing from narcissistic abuse, things to consider around that. And then I'll also lastly talk about spiritual and cultural practices that help with um, healing from narcissistic abuse. So, yeah, that's who I am. That's the purpose why I'm doing this. A little bit about what you can expect. Um, what else can I offer? The only other thing that I offer that I plan to incorporate into this series around healing from narcissistic abuse is I'm also an intuitive energy reader. And so I want to put out some videos that support that practice. But also, I get messages for survivors. And so I want to I'm stepping into, being confident again about these things. And so, yeah, I want to share my messages with other survivors of narcissistic abuse. And I want to share that by doing collective energy readings. And I'll do that with oracle and tarot cards, also a little bit of bibliotherapy. I love books. And so, yeah, I'll pull from sources like that. What else do I want to say? I think for now that's it. You can reach out to me in the comment section. I do have a website. I'll link all of that information in the description box. I'm considering starting a Discord channel. Um, and this is kind of in response to not having kind of like a Facebook support group that checks the boxes for my identities. So I'm thinking about that as well. A Discord kind of support group for folks who either identify within a community of color, identify, across the LGBTQIA plus spectrum, um, around cultural practices related to healing from narcissistic abuse. I'll also share, what my journey has looked like, and that's what it is. Like, I'm still healing, still growing, still, navigating who I am, now that I am not, you know, in those dynamics anymore. And I think that what I have to offer will be helpful to some folks. And so, yeah, I am creating that space now, and I hope that you'll join me. So, thank you.